Welcome to In Pursuit 360. And today we are talking about empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion. And what those questions might look like during an interview. Empathy and compassion. Do you have any? You need it. All right, let's get into it. All right, welcome back. In Pursuit 360. Here we go. Empathy and compassion. So, what are those things? Do you know? Do you know what is empathy and what is compassion? Believe it or not, they're a little different, right? Compassion is just your general feel. You can be compassionate about something, right? I, um, I don't know. I have to use my wife on this one. She loves dogs. She is an animal lover. If there is a lost dog in the neighborhood, she wants to go out, jump in the car, grab the leash. She's very compassionate about especially dogs, animals, but dogs, definitely dogs. She carries a leash in her car so that if she spots a dog that's running along the road, she can jump out and go get it and then try to find its owner and all that stuff. And God knows how many dogs have been in my house. She's very compassionate about that, right? It's something you really believe in. Um, Empathy. Empathy is something that doesn't necessarily affect you. Um, it's something that somebody else is going through, but you're able to be sympathetic to what they're going through. It has no effect on you emotionally, has no effect on you financially. However, you're able to kind of put yourself into their shoes and be comforting and be compassionate, um, and understanding about what it is that they're going through, and you're trying to help or understand or let them know that you're trying to understand where they're coming from. So being empathetic, right? As a law enforcement officer, you may end up going to what we call a DOA, a dead on arrival. And it could be of natural causes, right? I mean, it happens. Some people, die in their sleep or whatever. And when you show up, the family's all upset. Well, you've now seen probably 40 dead people over the last 5 years. You've seen all kinds of stuff. You've seen really gross stuff. You've seen bits and pieces. You've seen, all this stuff. And this is just some poor, 93-year-old person that passed away in their sleep. And the family's just all distraught. And you're like going, oh my God, they lived to 93. It's natural causes. Be happy they had such a good life. And why are you bawling your eyes out so bad? But you can't say that. You can't act like that. You have to be empathetic. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, blah, blah, blah. When was the last time that you spoke to your mother or your father or whatever? Um, can you tell me anything about, well, and then they'll bring up something and then ask about a story, right? It doesn't hurt you to be empathetic. Um, so anyway, so how do we relate this to a question, right? So there's compassionate and then there's empathetic or empathy, right? Um, so a question may be something like, tell us about a time where you were dealing with somebody at work or at school or whatever, that was going through something that you had to console or that you had to, how did you deal with that person in that situation? Have you ever dealt with somebody that was extremely upset? How did you deal with that? Right? How did you deal with it when they were upset? Well, what are they upset about? And were you able to be empathetic? Were you able to show empathy for this person that was upset? So you got to think about that. Go back in your history. Go back in things that you've dealt with. Think about family members. Think about, if you're old enough and you got kids. I mean, your 4-year old came home from kindergarten and his old best friend called him a meanie boogie face, and your kid got all upset, and you're like going, "Oh my God, you're going to get called a lot of things over your life. I mean, this is like nothing, right?" But you can't tell your kid that. You have to be a little empathetic. Oh, well, Johnny, you have to understand Jimmy's probably just, had a bad day, and hopefully tomorrow things will be better. And, I get it. You're upset. And right. That's empathetic. That's having empathy. That's for your kid. So can you think of things that have happened in your life where people have been upset about things where in your mind you're thinking, oh my God, are you serious? But you put yourself into their place and you show some understanding and some compassion and some empathy about what it is that they're going through. Be prepared, excuse me, to answer a question like this where you need to be able to display this ability. Um, I used to tell my guys all the time that they would, you know, they would come in bitching because they had to go to a mailbox vandalism. Oh my God, another mailbox vandalism. That's like 7 I've had to do in the last 2 days. Um, and they get so. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out, a mailbox vandalism, somebody comes by and hits your mailbox with a baseball bat and they keep on driving, right? You're probably never going to solve it. You're never going to figure out who it was. I mean, it's a freaking mailbox, right? It's like, what are they, like $30 at Home Depot or Lowe's? For a little metal one. I mean, come on, really? Some fancier mailboxes, maybe, may cost $80. I don't know, but it's a mailbox. Yeah. But what I used to tell my guys was, you have to understand that while you've dealt with 7 in the last 2 days or 100 in the last year, this is the first time anything's ever happened to them. They've never had anything stolen out of their car. They've never had been involved in a hit and run. Nobody ever broke into their house. This is the first time somebody has violated them. They're violated. Their personal property has been destroyed by somebody, and they feel violated. You've got to be empathetic. You have to find a way to go, oh my God, this is so stupid. I'm never going to find these people, to making them think that you understand that this is the crime of the century for them, right? And you've got to treat it that way. Hey, how you doing today? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Oh no, I understand. You're very upset. Let me go out and take a look at the mailbox, and let me take a look at the area and see what I can find. You go out and you look. Maybe there's some tire prints. Hey, I did see some tire prints, but I don't know. Does your mailman like pull off under the dirt, or do they, um, it appears it looks like they may have used a baseball bat or some kind of like a 2x4 or something like that, some big object to strike your mailbox. So I'm going to make a note of that in the report. If you see anything suspicious or blah, 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 please give me a call. I took photos of the tire print that was out there. Go talk to the 2 neighbors on either side. Hey, did you see anything? I've talked to your neighbors. And then about a week later, call them back up. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is Officer so and so. Just letting you know, I was out there. I handled that mailbox vandalism for you. Um, I have not gotten any other calls or any other leads or anything. I just wanted to check with you and see, have you heard anything on your end? Have you seen anything suspicious since I've been out there? No? Well, did you get your mailbox replaced at least? I know that it was really bothering you. Were you able to get it replaced and everything? Are you receiving your mail now? Okay, good. All right. Well, again, if you see or hear anything, let me know. If I see or hear anything, I will definitely let you know. I'll come by and make an extra couple sweeps on your house while I'm working. I work, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend. So I'll be swinging by a couple times in the evening just to kind of keep an eye on things for you. And they feel like $1,000,000. Maybe not $1,000,000, maybe 100 grand, right? They still were violated. However, now they know the officer cares. You are now the caring officer, right? And isn't that kind of what we do, right? To protect and serve. So we weren't able to protect the mailbox, but can we not serve the community by showing some empathy? So empathy is really important. You need to make sure not to get so callous over the things that you deal with on a daily basis that you're not able to show concern or compassion or empathy to the people that you deal with on a daily basis, even for the little things. It may be little to you, but it's major to them. You have to remember that. So when you answer these questions, make sure that you acknowledge that you do understand that there may come times when you're dealing with something that may seem trivial as far as crime goes, and you can use it like a mailbox vandalism, or I don't know, take your pick of whatever, right? Some minor little thing, um, and it may seem minor to you and small because you just came from a homicide scene, right? I mean, really, a mailbox vandalism compared to a homicide? Seriously? I mean, they're kind of like way up here like this, right? I'd go like off camera, but get the idea. Um, but to that person's not involved in the homicide. They don't even know about it. All they know is that their property was violated. and it's a big deal to them. So you need to be able to portray that in order to serve the public, because that's what you're there for. You're there to protect and to serve. That customer service thing, right? Making people feel better, make people feel safe. That's what we do. So anyway, all right. So hey, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down below, bell notification, tell you when the next video is coming out. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. But please do me a favor, tell me why. Getting a couple thumbs downs, but that's okay. But nobody tells me why. Speak up. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Even if you sit there and bust on my thin blue line flag, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinions. I don't care. Say what you got to say. I'm good with it. But don't think that I'm going to sit here and let it go. I'm going to say something back, right? Okay, so you say what you got to say. I say what I got to say, and then we move on. That's a great thing about America, right? First Amendment. We all talk our ideas in our mind and stuff like that, but we got to be willing to listen to the other side. Same thing in law enforcement. You got to be able to listen to somebody's opinions and ideas and stuff like that, whether you agree with them or not, and then make an unbiased decision based off of the law and policies and procedures. Okay? All right. So, hey, by the way, over SpartanTrainingSystems.com, I offer a free 15-minute consult one-on-one if you've got an interview or something like that coming up, or you got some questions. I offer interview coaching, and there's some deals on there. $65 for an hour, $100 for 2 hours, and we can break it down in a whole bunch of different ways. I do help with resume building and that kind of thing. So again, SpartanTrainingSystems.com, SpartanTrainingSystems.com. I'll put a link in the description down below. Also, anybody going into armed security or law enforcement, firearms training is very important. You can do dry fire drills at home. If you don't own your own firearm, you can do some dry fire drills with this. This is Next Level Training's SIRT pistol. So it's actually weighted. It's got a removable magazine. There's nothing that goes in there. The slide doesn't actually work, but the trigger does, and it's a laser light, right? So go over to nextleveltraining.com. In Pursuit 059 is the discount code. I'll put all that down in the description down below, but you can get yourself one of these, whatever department it is that you're going to work for, or that you do work for, or that you may work for. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P. They have the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. They also have, Glocks, the 19, the 17, the 23, the 22. They have all kinds of them, so you can get the exact model that will fit into your holster. You can practice your draws. You can practice your trigger press. You can practice, sight alignment, sight picture. You can practice all that with this thing. It's good. So yeah, nextleveltraining.com. In Pursuit 059 is your discount code, 10% off. It's in the description down below. In the meanwhile, please make sure you keep following your dreams. Go after what you want to go after, and most important, be safe out there.